Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm trying to share the screen, but it says the host disabled the participant screen sharing.
Oh man, I think it stopped. Oh man, I don't know what happened. Okay. Just could you please try again?
Yeah, now I can. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope you guys
Sometime.
can see my screen
Oh
now.
wow, this is good. Mhm.
So yeah, I mean,
Wow.
I didn't get any other idea. So I just
Yeah, I can hear you. Just give me a minute.
yeah, I'm trying to share the screen, but it says the
Give me a
host
minute,
disabled
please.
the participant screen sharing.
Stop. Wait a minute. Yeah. Huh. Pardon me for that. Uh, where were we? Okay. Oh, we are here. Huh. So you couldn't share yet, or wait a minute. I couldn't see these things. I believe again. Let me try something. Gone wrong. I believe. Oh, come
I think
on.
everyone would be able to see my screen now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see
Yes.
it.
Huh.
Yeah.
State Farm Digital Attendance Management System.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
sir.
I didn't get, I mean, explore any other idea, but I just went with
You
your
use
idea.
Vigio, I believe. Is this a Vigio?
No, this is the
Uh-huh.
Lucid charts.
Oh wow, this is really great. Okay,
Yeah, it
verify
looks really good.
biometric. Yeah, biometric retina assistant, then verified authorized user, record entry exit, and then calculate number of hours worked. Okay, then send an email list. Okay, you made it quite complex. Sir. Means we normally have one what you can say primary actor, one use case, and secondary actor, something like that. But you actually gone to a third or fourth level. These are like evolving use case diagrams. Then you also categorize the users, like full-time employee, contractor, and all that. You did it really extremely well. Means, I was not expecting this. We are thinking about simpler use case, but yeah, this is really great. Means yeah, this is the kind of diagram which I normally get archived, right? Real time data availability on HR, and okay, okay, good, good, good. This is really great. Everybody can. Could you see these things?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you've actually shown us two different use cases here for employee, and the HR is basically trying to get this thing as an automated send email and those things as well. So yes, this is really great.
Thank you. Yeah,
Perfect,
so
perfect.
I mean, there could be more, but I don't want it to make it more complicated. So yeah.
No, no, this is good. Basically, you said us that shown us the two use case, or rather, two complex use case in this, and this is really great. Means normally what we showcase the way it's shown in our presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And let me share my
Yeah, I'll stop sharing my screen.
presentation, so you'll get understand what we discussed last time, right? Oh, come on. See, as simple as customer, place order, system respondent, and something like that sort. So we do on a very simple level, but yeah, you did it really great. Yeah, that's perfect, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Anybody else want to share? Nipunji, yes, we welcome Nipunji. Nipunji is having around 17 plus experience. Nipunji, could you please introduce yourself, sir?
Yeah. So I'm happy to be a part of the group. So I have quite a lot of experience. I have been, so I did a master's from US quite a while back, like 2005-6 actually, and then I went back to
Wow.
India. So uh, my experience has been in the education and education technology sector, like in India. Like An Academy, if you know, everybody knows An Academy in India. So I worked
Right,
for
right.
them. I worked
Quite
for
famous.
Fiji and all that stuff. So, but then like last year I came to US again. So
Mhm.
so now I'm kind of transitioning to the IT field there.
Wow, great, great, great. No problem. This is, I think, fifth or sixth, sessions.
Yeah.
We
I'll
just
have to
started
go through the
understanding.
other. Yeah. I'll have to go through the previous sessions. I'll do that.
Sure, sure, no problem. And
Uh,
anything, let me know. I'll be happy to basically work with you in case if
Sure,
I
sure,
need to
sure.
explain anything or if you have any confusions. So don't
Okay,
worry
okay.
about that thing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Otherwise, yeah. Uh, Most welcome, sir. The way business analysts work, let's revise everybody. For what business analyst does primarily, he collect requirement. He try to understand the vision and convert into the business requirement, right? That's what we do. So we do arrange meeting nowadays, Google Meet, Zoom Meet, but previously we used to have something like personal one-on-one meeting, interviews, brainstorming, discussion session, joint aided discussion session, like they call it JAD, and so on and so forth. So we collect requirement. It can be as simple as collecting or building minutes of meeting. We build minutes of meeting where we try to add who discussed what are the action point assigned, what was the date, how long was the meeting, who called that meeting, and so on and so forth. So that's data collected in minutes of meeting, and these are auditory artifacts which we upload on the cloud as an proof to our requirement gathering sessions. Okay. Then we move to basically create list of requirements. So list of requirements do have a kind of typical Excel list where we have a serial number, name of the requirement, description of the requirement, who gave that requirement, when we actually first discussed, how we updated that requirement. So we build a kind of traceability here and the background of it, the priority and scenario of it. So this complete requirement list is what we can say a traceability chart, right? So we are going to trace the requirement from the first time it's discussed. So it can be part of minutes of meeting. It can be a part of normally, even sometimes while talking on the office, on the walking together or lunch, dinner, and those kind of meetings as well. Okay, so all these requirements we collect in a list of requirement with the other attributes to it, and that's what we call RTM, requirement traceability matrix. We're going to learn RTM in depth afterwards, but right now we have just started collecting requirement. Then these requirements normally get approved from the stakeholder, the client, where they say, okay, this requirement is correct, this requirement has to be worded differently, this is the priority, that is the scenario or the background of that given requirement, and so on and so forth. So we update this list of requirement. This list of requirement goes into a document called system requirement specification, and this system requirement specification is what we author. It's owned by business analyst team or individual, depending upon the length and breadth of your business analysis teams for a given project. We do work on these SRS where we include in requirement list, even link pardon me, even link to the minutes of meetings. And in addition to that, we use good number of tools to make sure whatever we are describing as a requirement inception, we try to have something like a use case diagram where we have a clear-cut idea of how that requirement proceeds step-by-step way. And one of us a really great requirement diagram shown us basically. Here what we understood, this is how we do it. Normally we can do it with a single layer of use case diagram also, as we can see on our screen. So one prime character executing one use case, and then we have one secondary secondary actor, which is on the right side of our rectangular block. Our rectangular blocks is our scope, in the sense this is what system is going to do for you, and the customers, the time, these are the users of the system. Whatever you have on the left hand side are called prime actors. They initiate these events, and then on the secondary on the left hand side, whatever actors we have, these are secondary actors. They support these use cases in terms of sharing database, in terms of giving details like, okay, things are processed, or serving the food and those kind of scenario, right? So this is how we have learned the use case diagram. So up till now we have just understood the basic flow of how requirements are gathered and how we start explaining them. So use case diagram is our first step used in the modern business analysis requirement gathering policies, processes, rule book. And most of the organizations, they use use case diagram to make sure any complex requirement which user or the development team has to understood, they can do it from they can do it like this. Okay, so it's a simple diagram, but once you know it, it really helps you out to understand even the complex system within your office, okay, within your day-to-day life as well. So this is how we improve ourselves one tool at a time. Any questions so far? Anything which I can help you with?
No, sir.
We are good, right? Let's take a step further. Normally we have something called lucid chat, or what you can say, one of the free tool available, where you can draw use case diagram. I think they have a limit of, now they have just put in the limit of, you know, one diagram per day, or I don't know why, but yeah, there are a good number of free tool also available in Google Sheet. We have use case diagram as an, you know, in G Suite. There's a you know, we have you know, UML diagrams as well, so you can draw a UML diagram in G Suites also. G Suites in the sense, the way we are using the Excel sheet, the Google Sheet, right, to share the links of various recorded session, the interview help, and so on and so forth. Okay, so like that, even the G Suite have initiated UML diagrams within, you know, their group of what you can say, helpful material, which is also free of cost. So if you have just Gmail ID, that suffice every requirement to draw such diagrams and everything. Okay, now this is what we discussed you know, last time, whenever we talked about a waiter serving food, or rather waiter getting an order from a client. Client is the basically the customer which comes to your hotel and he orders a food. Then to order wine or not, it's a kind of optional thing, so that's why it extends. But whenever you order food, that order is taken to the chef by waiter. The chef cooks the food, then the food is served by the waiter again to the customer client. Again, if you order wine, he'll serve wine. If you're not, then he will not serve wine. So it's extend. Okay, and then we eat food, drink wine if you at all order, pay food if wine is consumed, pay for the wine also. So these are extend. Then there's something called include. Include in the sense, those things do happens by default. So if one thing happens and in second thing also happens, then it's a include. This is extend. So extend in the sense, it can or can't happen depending upon the way the events are happening, depending upon the events initiated by these primary actors. Okay, the way this diagram is drawn, I'll not say it's wrong, but normally we have just one prime actor. We can have multiple secondary actor, but normally the use case diagram are drawn with one primary actor only. And as we have seen in that UML diagram, you can have groups of primary actor described there as well. So one primary actor initiating, but within that one primary actor, there could be 2 or 3 different groups which are basically initiating 2 or 3 different events or sequence of event. Does that make sense to you? Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Let me move forward. Now the importance of use case. Let's try to understand how these things are evolved. To start with, we used to have something called flowchart, where we had a problem of symbols. Then we came up with activity diagrams. But even during activity diagram, there were lots of parallel flows excluded. Even there are lots of, you know, priorities and scenario have missed. And the basic thing is basically the scope of thought process is not there. In use case diagram, we have all these things. How we have scope as a rectangular box. In the diagram, whatever is the rectangular box, you can see this rectangular box is basically the scope of system. So what is outside this box is not included in the systems. Okay, and so on and so forth. So we have scope, then we have parallel executions of various different event tracks. So you're not sticking to just one track. So we have different actors, different users, and then they are doing different things. Again, this is a user-centric model. So actual development team can understand what they need to do for the users. And that's the most important thing. Okay, it's an evolved modern tool. It's evolved over past 20-25 plus years and supporting various tools and extension. Now there are a good number of integrated development environments. We call it ID, like .NET, Java Suite, JSuite, Woodland Studio, and all those things. These guys can give a basic class structure for you from the use case diagram. So it means that they can generate code for you if you have use case diagram given to them or use case diagram imported in this environment. That's why use case diagrams are really important. They are like kind of modern tools here. It's an easy means of capturing the functional requirement with a focus on value added to the user. So what user needs is the most important thing. That's why we call it user centric or user engineering pro tools. Okay, so this means that whatever user requires is at the center of your application development. Okay, use cases are relatively easy to write. You can clearly see and read compared to the traditional requirement methods. Use case force developers to think from the end user perspective. Again, it's a user centric thing. Use case engage the user in the required process. So what we are doing, user is our prime importance, the actors are the prime importance. What they are doing are all captured in this use case diagram. Okay, if interview asks you, could you please tell me about use case diagram? Do you think you'll be able to answer that question now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do have a look at this recording. Is being released on the YouTube as well as I'll share the recording after this session as well. Okay, so have a look at this recording. Please prepare answer for a question like, tell me about use case diagram. Okay, and you should be able to explain in at least 2-3 sentences. That's more than enough. And if you ask like which tool you can use pen, paper. You can even use Excel sheet like table. Means you have an actor, you have a use case name, and you have detailed use case description and the secondary actors as well. So this way we can tabulate the use cases. But normally the best thing is we have a use case diagram like we have done in the Lucid chart. Okay, Lucid chart is really what you can say, simple economical tool. So you can purchase the license at around I think $100 per year or something like that sort. So good number of organizations use Lucid charts actually for their use case diagramming method. Okay, so if you practice use case diagramming on Lucid chart, that will you have an added advantage. You can tell the interviewer like, yes, I have used Lucid chart as a tool. Even you can do it with pen and paper. Okay, so try it out. Unless and until you try it out, you couldn't understand it completely. That's why these are the kind of homework which I would like you to present. Okay, in terms of how you have captured the essence of the requirement. Does that make sense? Anybody have any confusion as of this moment?
No, sir.
We are good, right? Okay, let's take a step further. There's something called document traceability. See, we talked about auditory facts. What are the auditory facts? Auditory facts are the document we normally use as a evidence whenever the audit comes. Evidence in the sense the supporting material. If you say, okay, yes, I have captured the minutes of meeting. So the other will say, okay, could you please tell me, show me the minutes of meeting. So you should be able to pull out the minutes of meeting from your cloud storage. As we normally all use cloud storage, wherever we create this auditory, this cloud storage has all those minutes of meetings, the requirement list, the SRS document and everything, right? So these documents are normally archived on the cloud, which can be pulled out with a click of your finger on a smartphone or on a mouse on your desktop, laptop, whatever you're using, right? So this way we upload these documents to the cloud. Now there's something called document traceability we need to understand. Here what we talk about versioning. What is versioning? Say you release minutes of meeting and then somebody said, or the any senior person comes through and say, hey, business analyst, I believe the way you worded this requirement is different from our thought process. Could we please change the wording? You say, yes, why not? So what you do, you open that document again and you update that requirement as per the required of the sanctioning body, authorization body. And after you apply, you normally upload it to the Google Drive, your cloud, whatever cloud you are using, right? Now this way, what you have done, you have updated that document again, you have modified the document again. Now what this versioning system normally do, whatever document you have uploaded earlier has been archived already. Now whenever you say, you upload that document again, that document have been, it's not renamed, but it's version extended by one step at a time. So when the previous document can be 1.0, second document can be 1.1. and this way we extend the version. Normally, when I talk about 1.0, it's actually 1.1.1.1. That's the 4-step or 4 bit versioning we normally use in all the corporate America and Canada. So what we are trying to do, when you upload minutes of meeting, let's say 20th September 2022, and then on 23rd that VP HR or somebody from stakeholder or even within your team comes to you say, okay, this is not really understandable or something like that, so could you please update that? So you'll say, yes, I'll update that. So whenever you update that, the cloud system or the storage archival system updates the version to the next level version. So it can be something like 1.1.0.0, it will update to 1.1.0.1 or something like that. So this way the versioning increments by one step at a time. So if you checked out in the sense, you got the document opened for updation, and whenever you say save, whenever you click on save, or when you say upload this document or share this document, that document versions get updated, and all the older documents are already stored there. And this is how we basically get the document traceability. And just to make sure, document traceability just not only for the versioning, it's also for the revision history, or where we normally have a date, description, author, contents, and versions after that. And date normally have something like timestamp. So what is a timestamp? Basically, timestamp is a complete date, year, 4 letters, months, 3 letters, date, 2 letters, hours, 2 letters, minutes, 2 letters, nanosecond, 4 letters, and the day of the week, 3 letters mostly. So that's the kind of timestamp we are looking for. The sequence might change as you use your operating system. If you are using Windows, the timestamp means a bit different. Unix timestamp means different. Android timestamp means different. Linux timestamp is a different, means the sequence does change. Okay, so there are some conversion functions the development team uses or the cloud system uses automatically for these things. So date is also my versioning. Then I can check the versioning with the actual version numbers. And also sometimes we give a label to that version. So it's like final release or Christmas release or Thanksgiving release or something like that. So depending upon your company policies and procedure wherever you work for. So this is how we maintain our document traceability and revision history. Normally these questions are not asked in an interview, but yes, there were a couple of times they asked this interview. Could you please share your thoughts on document traceability or revision history, the way you maintain your organizations? Whenever you try to showcase it, like you have been working in IT for so many years, you should know this document traceability by heart, or you should be able to explain this thing to the interviewer. And in addition to that, in the document traceability, we also have document approvals. So who approve these things? Normally we don't have signature in the sense pen and paper signature, but most of the time we have digital signature included within this document traceability or versioning step by step. Yes, Sham sir, please go ahead. Do you have a question for me?
Yeah. So my question is like, is this really a Word document, or companies normally use any system or portal?
Normally it's a Word document, sir, or a Google Sheet. Now I think Google Sheet is prevailing, or there are Libreoffices, which is a free office and which lets the cloud system update the versioning automatically. But yes, Word system is also one of the most prominent thing.
Okay.
See, Word, the way we open Word and close Word, right? They have some standardized update process. Similarly, with all other documentation, like be it something like LibreOffice or the Google Sheets and all, the Google keep a track of that. Means if you try to create, let's say, a survey, have you ever, anybody of us ever created a survey with Google Sheets? Anybody know? Try. Means it's not that difficult. I'll share the YouTube link also. Try to create a survey online just for the sake of having fun. Okay. And there, try to put in your, okay, let me do one thing. I'm doing my LLM thesis right now. And for that, I normally using a what you can say Google Sheet for that survey. So let me just share that survey here, and then you can have a look at how we create surveys and all those things. It's a simple 9-point survey I have created for my I'm doing a survey on data and cyber security for elderly. Okay, so let me put this in a link. Okay, try these links and I'll basically put it in our WhatsApp as well, so that you can try to do it through WhatsApp as well. This is a kind of okay, what's happening here? Give me a minute, please. Am I not part of it? Yeah, I'm not part of it. Sometimes these things do act funny. Okay, I don't know why I couldn't able to do it. No problem. So here, please try and have a look at that survey. For that survey, if you open the survey, you will find there are different people who have actually completed the survey, and there you can have the date, time, their email address, and everything traced back. This is what we call document traceability, and it's as simple example you can give it to anybody for understanding the traceability. You can try it on your own as well and share the link in the group, and we can all try to share our survey, so that we know how basically these versioning are maintained. These are a normal standard processes for every IT company, and this is a kind of part and parcel of CMM level 3. So it's also implemented in CMM level 4, say level 5, 5I, even ISO 2000, and the latter levels of the quality management systems. We're going to learn this quality management system in our PMP sessions, but here the traceability goes hand in hand with all such auditory processes, policies. That's why they are part and parcel of these quality management system. And it's really important thing. Same way we trace our requirement list also, and it's called as requirement traceability matrix. Does that make sense to you? Anybody have any question?
No, sir.
Okay. Now these traceability process might different from one another depending upon the way they have implemented in your organizations you're going to work for. Okay, so it can a bit flexible in terms of they might not use date there, they just use version, or they just use label, and in label they have a combination of date and time of release or something like that. So there are good number of innovation do happens at a ground. So actually the most important thing is basically tracing the documents to its origin or the number of updates it have already included itself, and that's how the traceability works. Okay, let's take a step further now. The most important part, or rather one of the most fun thing in business analyst, we do use Excel. We use Excel, as I told you. We use Excel for requirement gathering, we use Excel for data analysis, we use Excel for providing all the details why we have decided so it's called decision analysis. Okay, so those kind of scenario, right? So for that we use Excel. So today we are going to learn about number of charts, number of graphs, how we present ourselves in front of all these top management. And as the best part of our business analysis work culture, we do closely work with very senior people of our organization and very senior people of the partners as well. So you normally dine and wine with VPHR, CEOs and CTOs of the world, because these guys are the visionary, these guys are the product owner, as we normally speak. They have the vision and they want to implement that vision through a solution. That's the normal scenario. So as an analyst, I meet n number of people on a given day, and most of them are very senior people. So all these business analysts, they get appreciated left and right. Believe me, business analysts are the most important fraternity, get appreciated most of the time, even much better than the project manager who do most of the work, but still he is kind of least appreciated, or kind of less appreciated from the business analysis fraternity. And we should use this thing to the best of our knowledge. And yes, previously business analysis are normally done by the project managers, just because of their experience, the way they are taking the new responsibilities and all those things. But now as the consumption of time, as the number of discussions you need to have as a business analyst, we created a separate fraternity, separate groups to basically engage into these discussions or various meetings, wine and dine and traveling and blah blah things, just to make sure once the business analyst team gather the whole momentum in terms of collecting requirements. Yes, Sham sir, please go ahead.
Yeah, so my question is again related to BA profile. So I was
Go ahead,
talking
sir.
to one of my friend yesterday, and he got me confused, and would like to know from your view, what is the difference between BSA and BA?
How do you, basically, what is a BSA to start with?
So business system analyst and business analyst, are they different two roles, or it's just same?
Okay, normally in a thought process they are the same. Okay, let me tell you why I say this, and then I'll say the difference also. Normally business system analysis, they do analyze requirements, they do collect requirement, but mostly their thought process is from infrastructure side. Let me tell you why. Infrastructure in the sense, how many servers do we need, how big is the database, which should be the database. Let me tell you why. Whenever you're designing a solution, specifically an IT solution, right? So there you need to understand which type of server do you have to use. Should we use Unix, Linux, Windows? Because there are dime a dozen server available, right? Now for your solution, if you're building something like let's say a high architectural model or high image processing kind of system, then you might need something called SGI as an OS. SGI is Silicon Graphics, International. That's a company which is closely associated with the Apple or Mac type of fraternity. These guys work for photographers. These guys work for those animation studios, movie studios, and all those things. So these computers are specifically driven for animation, image crunching, image archival type of system. They do image crunching at almost 10 times faster than our normal desktop laptops and all those things, because they are tuned for those kind of scenario. If you're looking for something like banking transactional server, you might use Linux, which is a kind of Red Hat Linux, really famous for high mathematical throughput or calculations or high logical transaction, as they say. So these are transactional systems. So banking, you normally use Red Hat server. They are secure enough. They do encrypted transaction at a very high speed from the others. So like that, whenever you worked as a system analyst, there you have to include all these infrastructure designing thought process. Normally, if you have an experience in terms of system designing, then you can work as a business system analyst. But for you, means if you don't have experience, don't get discouraged. You can learn this very easily, at least to start with the basics of it. Means after this business analyst session, when we do our big workshop, there I normally share these links with you, where you can understand how these systems are famous for which type of work. Like I just talked about the architectural designings or the animation studio ones, or the business transactional system, or any other else. So if you are using something like content management system, then Windows servers are better, because Windows Server have a server of family. They do work hand in hand at a very efficient throughput space. So all these publishing media like CNN, the IMDb's and all those things, these guys use mostly Windows Server as a front end, but in the back end, they might use something like SGI server to archive their animations, movies, images, and so on and so forth. Now here it's a combination of system we are talking about. So these type of analysis is done by mostly system analyst. Now they have the business analyst, because they are also collecting requirements, right? So that's why they call it BSA. So it's a one and the same thing. But yes, BSA or business system analyst or a system analyst, they get paid a bit well. Means they are in the north of 120k plus, 130k plus. Normally a business analyst get paid around 100k plus. And that's how the difference is. But yes, the learning which is required, or rather I'll say experience, because these things keep changing. Like let me tell you, there's a Linux version called Ubuntu Linux. You might have heard of. This Ubuntu Linux version is a really famous for content management nowadays. Means in the last let's say 6 to 8 months, Ubuntu is helping the media houses like left and right. So there are good number of servers, around 30% plus of CNN have been replaced by Ubuntu, and Ubuntu is open system. So for support, you need to pay something like $30 per year kind of scenario. And Microsoft Windows, the licensing cost is around, I think, some $650 dollars per year per processor based license. That's a server licensing cost. So cost wise, $30 plus let's say $3,000. That's how the things are differ in terms of pricing of the operating system license only. So you can understand how important is this system analysis for a given company. So whenever you migrate your systems, you normally tend to adopt to the system which are economical, which are efficient, and which are easier to use as well. Yes, but Ubuntu is difficult, much difficult than Windows, because hardly few guys use Ubuntu. And that's a kind of pros and cons. So as a system analyst, I do study these pros and cons at an actual situation level. And believe me, why we have this interview support? Because such scenario have to be explained at its given situation. And that's why we have this interview support. So at the last time, if some interviewer asks question like this, I'll help you out. So please don't worry. Okay. This is kind of, yes, gradual learning, and nobody expects you to know all those things. But yes, gradually, step by step, we learn this thing. Okay. Does that answer your question, sir?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Most welcome, sir. Now let's talk about Excel for a BA. Excel is the most common tools. Here Excel means Microsoft Excel. Excel means Excel sheet of Google Sheets, or they call it just Sheets, or the sheets in LibreOffice. LibreOffice is one of the most common open system office tool. Let me open that site for you, just in case. LibreOffice. Okay, let me share that. Where's that? Come on. Yes. Could you see I search LibreOffice on a Google, and the first thing is LibreOffice.org. Now, if I click here, this is what LibreOffice is all about. LibreOffice 7.4. They have spreadsheet, that's an Excel sheet. They have documents as in Word document, and for presentation they have some another thing. So the name might change overall, yes, but this is one of the most matured office other than Microsoft Office. So you have a bundled thing with the office in it. See, download LibreOffice. So we have Snap is for image updation. Okay, they I don't know why, but they keep changing these name and all those things. LibreOffice for Android is also available. There's a business edition, so if you can pay a bit for a support, like $50 a year kind of scenario. Let me check out. I have gone into the detail of LibreOffice here. So here LibreOffice, as the web server have recognized my operating system. So it supports all these different type of operating system. Yes, it's available for Mac also, and it's available for Android also. So if you try to open this link from your Android smartphone, you'll land up to a different thing, what you can say, LibreOffice download link. Okay, and then we have SDK also. SDK in the sense you can update this LibreOffice as per the need. So you can have your dark theme, this theme, that theme, and all those things. It's also available on a torrent. And yes, there are different size and shapes is available as per the versions and all those things. So have a look at these things. So this is one of the most matured office as of now whenever you talk about the office systems. Okay, so office systems are normally there to build efficiencies across your offices, so that every authors can create document and share across for every other colleague, so that he or she can open that document, work on it, and share back, or they can be archived at a common cloud place, so that the document or artifact have been versioned internally. Okay, and all these Google Cloud, Amazon Cloud, this cloud, that cloud, they support Office as in Microsoft Office, they support LibreOffice, and they support Google Sheets as well. so that the traceability is maintained initially. There could be office which doesn't support your cloud service providers traceability. It does happen. Okay, so whatever office you're going to work with, you whenever you join, right, they will suggest which office you use. Normally if you purchase Microsoft Office at a high volumes, it will be at cheaper as something like $300 per user license kind of scenario. But nowadays even company want to save that much, because we have a small and medium enterprises which normally don't invest heavily in terms of IT infrastructure, or they want to have an economical IT infrastructure. So they use Ubuntu as an OS, they use Libreoffice as an office, so that whatever functionality you need is already included. If you want to do too much of a work, like we'll see in Excel for business analysts, like the automated calculation, the summary function, the pie chart and the graph charts, then you might select Microsoft Office or LibreOffice for this specific purpose. Here we're going to try to learn Microsoft Office, the version 2013 and above. Okay, and there we'll understand how to draw this graph chart with just a set of data. Okay, let's go through the presentation and we'll understand how this helps us on a day-to-day basis in terms of how this Excel is going to help us in our business analysis policies and process. So Excel is easy to use because we are using it for so many years now, right? After are there anybody who haven't used Microsoft Excel as of now? Well, in last session, there were one person who were much more efficient in LibreOffice than Excel. Believe me, and he presented his pie chart and graph as well. So yeah, no problem. So I think we all know Microsoft Excel, so no problem there. So after decades of experience using Excel, finance professionals know this tool like a back of their hands, and asking them to drop it and adopt to a new tool is a tall order. Yes, sometimes specifically as we talked about banking system content providers, they normally use Microsoft Excel, and it's a cost effective. If you purchase in a volume license, it's really economical. Most tranche supported data analysis Excel site, its price as the reason for using it. New generation analytics platform are costly when compared to Excel. Yes, these analytic platforms, and we are talking about something like Tableau, and there are dime a dozen analytic platforms available. Even the big datas have a great number of analytical tools nowadays. But yes, these are costly because they normally you have to pay around $1,000 or in the north of $1,000 per license per year, and so on and so forth. Okay, again, depending upon the licensing you choose, you normally have the facilities added to the analytics. But Excel provides a good number of facilities, whatever required by the business. Okay, and we'll learn those things. Better ad hoc analysis. Yes, what do you mean by ad hoc? Whatever you required at a given time. At times you might require something like pie chart, something like 3D bar chart, something like pivot tables, and these are all can be done very easily in Excel, and we are going to learn these things. Okay, we're going to have a kind of hands-on workshop on these as well. And then world values. Excel is a ignofanza of the finance world. Yes, for banking and finance world, Excel is the basic spreadsheet where they start their work, and then they move to the mostly database based what you can say business analytics or analytical platforms, and so on and so forth. Then we have interportability as well. So most of all these sheets, they provide you interportability within the other system. So like if some chief financial officer, they want to share their reports with the state government's auditory functions for audits and everything, right? So they can just share the Excel. And if you want to understand how this Excel conversion works, there's a format called CVS, which is a kind of granddaddy of Excel. This CVS format started with a spreadsheet called Lotus Notes. This was very famous in late 1980s before Excel became a good famous tool. So that Excel can let you save file as a CVS. You can check in your Excel and try to do it save as a CVS format also. Okay, so those type of financial terminology exchanges do happen via Excel. And if any state government office, mostly all North American state governments are upgraded to Microsoft Office, where there could be one or two municipality office for their financial audit purpose might require CVS format as well. Like there's a county in St. Louis which they use CVS format. So these things do happen in the world. So normally, but Excel is used by plenty. Most of the times you use Excel for business analyst, and this is like retaining cost. You have to just spend to purchase these tools once and all. Some CFOs balk at the idea of abandoning Excel sheet because at the time the money needed to retain the employees on a new tool as well. Yes, there are a good number of employees, they really work with a specific tool rather than every tool available in the market, and that's how they have achieved a mastery in that tool. They can get the things done within minutes, within second kind of scenario. So that's why Excel is one of the most prominent, and Excel is one of the most popular tool as of now, and that's why we normally practice on Excel. Yes, CSV. Oh, sorry, CSV. Yes, sorry, Shamsi. We will, try to basically save it in a CSV as well. Okay. Oh, sorry. So this way we are going to learn a kind of how to use this Excel for our graphs and pie chart. Okay. Resume slideshow. Okay. So here, let me take it. Okay. So we're going to use Excel for pivot charts, trends, data analysis, data trend analysis, sort and filter data, and basically creating charts and graph as well. All these tasks mentioned above can be well performed using Microsoft Excel, which is the most popular spreadsheet tool. Excel provides several built-in mathematical and financial functions that can add data analysis, and we're going to learn that now. Business analytics with Excel training has been designed to help initiate you to the world of analytics. So we don't need Tableau like tool every time. Microsoft Excel or Libreoffice worksheet support all these scenario. Okay. And here let me showcase you a video where we will try to understand how this Excel tools and trick is going to help us out, and I'll share some additional video with you as well, so that we can understand how this Excel can work for us or do wonders. Believe me, it's almost kind of doing wonders for us, believe. And come on, where is that? Let me magnify this. Yes, it's a small 9-minute or video. Let me share that with you, and we'll try to understand how this video is going to help us out to build good Excel pie chart and Excel toolset. Plus additionally, they're going to give you a good number of shortcuts to learn to use Excel effectively. Could you see a green screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me play this video for you. Hello everybody, in this Excel Beast Mode video, I'll share with you some excellent Excel data analysis tricks which are easy to apply and enough for your audience to go wow. Let's begin. In this example of data analysis, I've taken a data set which spans over 8,500 plus rows. The data set consists of date, time element, and the electricity unit consumed. With this data, we will have to prepare an extensive analysis which will cover the month and the day, and based on that, how much electricity has been consumed. We'll also add a user interface which will allow you to track the consumption based on time. And with this data set, you can quickly make charts like these and these. So let us get started. First, let's extract the important information from the column A. The first piece of information I want is the electricity unit consumed. I copy 0.384. I paste it in the adjoining cell so that there is no empty blank column in between. Now press Ctrl E. Wow, you see all the data getting extracted beautifully in this column B. Now you're going to ask me, what is Ctrl E? Well, it's a technique called flash fill, which is present on the data tab of Excel version 2013. Its strategy is based on training the machine. If you could show one sample output, you are in a way have trained the machine, and with that shortcut key Ctrl E, the machine did the task for you.
Let me try this with date. I will extract 24th March 2014, copy that, paste in the adjoining cell which is connected, and then press Ctrl E. The results, although very good, but it's not perfect. So what do? I choose column C. I press Ctrl Shift 3. This ensures all the dates which look like number gets shown as date format. Furthermore, I will get rid of all the underscore and the RDs and the DH, which prevents Excel to read this as date. You can easily apply find and replace by pressing Ctrl H. I put an underscore and replace with nothing. I can quickly click on replace all button, or I may press Alt with letter A, Alt A. Enter. Next. ST. Replace all. Next. ND. Replace all. Next. RD. Replace all. Finally, TH. Replace all. I'll close this panel now. Next, if I wish to find out which of these are Sundays or Mondays, I may write a function called text. Text formula asks you to choose the date value, and then in the format you have to give 3 times D in a pair of double quotes. Enter. The text formula will help me get answers for all the dates. So I've got KWH, I've got the date in place, I have got the date in place. Now if I want time, what next? I try picking 3 PM, copying that, pasting in the cell which is connected in the same row, and then pressing Ctrl E. However, this will not yield you correct results with respect to time. Reason? As you pasted 3 PM, its format got changed and became more elaborate. You can see in the function bar 3:00:00 space PM. This sample with which you are trying to train the machine is not the same as input, hence the confusion. So let me put a single quote 3, then space followed by PM. This ensures that the time will be stored as text. Now with this sample, I press Ctrl E and get the results. Although the results are very encouraging and accurate, however, it's not clear enough. I should have trained the machine better with example of 8 PM. Reason? Because this case has problems of underscore and lack of space. So I go back. I put single quote 8 space PM, enter, and then using 8 PM as benchmark, Control. Super. If you have a concern that this time is being read as text, you may apply a function called value. Any number stored as text, any date stored as text, or any time stored as text will be converted into a proper format. Let me choose the time, close the parenthesis, enter. I will select the value and press Ctrl Shift 2 to make it look like time. There you go. You got your results. I'll keep a heading of time version 2. With all this important information pieces right in front of you, you are all ready to move on to the next step of data analysis. I select the data using Shift Control down. I go to Insert. I activate Pivot Table, and I simply press OK. Next, to draw the full benefit of Pivot Table, I will activate a setting from Pivot Table Options. I click on it, I go to Display tab, and then I activate Classic Layout option. OK. Now the 4 grids are very clear. The biggest of them all, which is value fields, is generally used for calculations such as max, min, average, percentage. Let me put date in the row fields. You can put the date in the row fields by dragging and dropping in the section at the bottom also. You can also make a tick mark. Now, when you right click on any one date, you get an option called group. Click on group and choose months. What is this going to do? It's going to group the dates into clusters of month. Next time you can try with grouping dates with months and years both. Right now, I'm more keen to put day in the column field. And I want to rearrange the sequence of these days from Monday to Sunday. So I right click on Sunday, I go to option move, and then choose move Sunday to end. Now let me fill this value grid area with kWh, that's the electricity units consumed. Once having chosen all the numbers, I press Ctrl Shift 1 to correct the format with 2 decimals. The analysis shows the total consumption during the entire year was 6849. Now when I choose all the information pieces from the grid, excluding the grand totals, I can go to Home tab, go to Conditional Formatting, reach out towards color scales and choose the heat map option, which is the 8th one. Next, I wish to show a small chart against every month. So I select the cell, I go to Insert, and then I go to Sparkline. This is a feature of 2010 version of Excel, and click on the line option. All it asks me is to choose the data range, which I gladly do so from Monday to Sunday. Remember, no grand totals to be taken, else your chart will be misrepresenting the data. Press OK. Once the Sparkline is in place, you can modify the settings by going to Design and choose High Point and Low Point. Furthermore, you can drag this down to have the same for all months. Next, I choose any cell from inside the pivot table and then I go to Analyze. Within Analyze, I choose Insert Slicer. It was introduced in the version 2010 of Excel. Let me choose Slicer, and then I will take up the version time 2. Okay, it provides me with a simple user interface panel which I can drag towards the right, and this will control the pivot table display on the left. Let me try it out. If I choose 1 o'clock or 5 o'clock, you can see the difference. I can also clear the filter from the slicer. If you want to make a quick chart based out of this data, simply select a cell from inside the pivot table and press function key F11. Whoa, if that's not all, you can also modify the chart by right-clicking on the bar and go to Change Series Chart Type. Once you click on it, you can decide to choose which chart would you want to apply on your data set. There you go, press OK. This chart quickly tells me that July is the month of highest consumption, followed by January, June, and thereafter December. Before I conclude, let me show you the best trick of the day. Why don't I keep the time version 1 in the report filter, and if somebody asks me to make 24 hours report individual analyze, I'll find out where the option is and then click on the drop down, and finally I find this option which I'm going to use, show report filter pages. Let me click on it and press OK, and in 1 second you'll have 24 sheets generated, one for every time zone. Let me go back to my original pivot table by right clicking at the bottom left corner of the screen, scroll down and choose sheet 1. It's time for a quick wrap up of this Excel Beast Mode video. In this video, you learned how to do data analysis in Excel. We used various strategies and tricks. One of my favorite tricks is Flash Fill, which is a new feature of Excel version 2013. Others include pivot tables, sparklines, and heat map through conditional formatting. Apply these learning to your job and become faster, save time, and bring efficiency.
So it's really, very, very great tool, Excel, and that's how we can basically understand how we can excel in Excel itself. Yes, because, Excel is one of the most crucial tools we do use in our day-to-day life in terms of presenting business report, presenting to the business in terms of how this data is reflecting for a given data representation, trend analysis, and so on and so forth. Have anybody used these tools? Anybody use these formulas before?
Yep.
Oh, then
I used different formulas like for rewriting sequels. I used Excel.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yeah,
that's
to
great.
insert data into the rows. If you have to write like 1,000 insert statements, you can write with just one click.
Right, that's very rightly said.
Yeah.
So this is how we can use Excel, right? Let me take you ahead here. Let's try to understand what different type of charts you normally use. That's the way he reformatted the data of around 8,000 rows with couple of clicks. In 9 minutes, he got all those, really beautiful looking report and the analysis or the trend analysis as you required for a given time. It can be sales data, it can be my house expense. I can track down in terms of what are the major heads I'm spending on, how can I control my cost, how can I address my economical measures to a given spending and all. Okay, and believe me, I normally share it as an homework please do try to understand your last 6 months spending. Jot it down on different heads like electricity, gas, the spending in terms of foods, spending in terms of groceries, and so on and so forth, and try to analyze what's the biggest spending item on your pocket. Okay, and this way we can understand, if I had to apply a cost cutting measure, what are the most effective areas where I cut cost and still don't sweat a lot about it. Okay, like watching movies, or traveling to a recreational spot or something like that. So depending upon your thought process, your personal likings and fondness, you can align these expenses as per your or you can be a more effective a spender rather than just a blunt spender, which goes by whims and fancies of day-to-day basis. Okay, again, take it as a homework. If you can present in the next session, that'll be really great. I'm not going to force anyone to basically show or display their homework or display their practice. If you want to, I'll be glad to help you out. If you are like to be secretive about it, well, be my guest. But unless and until you try, it's really difficult to learn. Okay, so one try can give you at least a good number of understanding in terms of how that point have been presented, how that work has to be done on the ground basis. Okay, so yes, do practice. That's my humble request. Okay, as an all professional, the importance of practicing. I don't have to really keep hammering on that. Okay, so let's try to understand, how do you choose a chart type. Normally in the business environment, like we work as an analyst, there are a good number of options we need to present in terms of on a chart or a bar or a graph kind of scenario. Let's try to understand how we can effectively do it. Okay, how we can use Excel for such. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Sorry to interrupt, but so we can do all this analysis even in Power BI, right? So right now, I think that's much easy than doing in Excel.
Sir, Power BI do cost a lot, right? I think Power BI license is around $800 or $850.
Actually, there is a free desktop version, but if you want to upload it to a server, only then you have to.
Exactly. No, whenever you work, sir, you normally upload, right? You normally work for to share with every other
you
person
can send it through email and other communications also, or you can upload it to our share that same thing in the company servers also. That's what I have seen. So I think
Power BI is another tool like Excel. It's also a tool. I'm not saying in terms of efficiency or anything, but yes, it adds to the cost to the kitty, right? So for a business analyst, for every employee, you normally purchase a laptop, and with laptop you have a Microsoft OS, and then with the laptop you also get Microsoft Office at a much cheaper price. So this way we normally acquire Microsoft Excel for a given business. But if you want to do really have those specific tools for specific purpose, so one of the report in Power BI might be required by the top management, and these things do happen, and that's why you normally go for Power BI or Tableau, or there are n number of such tools available. And yes, these are normally used the queries or the database to have stored data or pull the data from, and so on and so forth. For Excel, you just create a simple table and everybody can do it, right? So depending upon the use and flexibility, every organizations choose their tool.
But there normally
is Excel is yeah, go ahead please.
Yeah, sorry sir. So, but there is a disadvantage with that. The thing is Power BI can be only installed on Windows OS machines. Mac OS cannot access it. So if anybody is using Mac or Apple OS in the company, they cannot see the data.
Yeah, you said it right. Means every of the tool have some shortcomings. Like even Excel too. Excel also have a shortcoming, and depending upon the need of the business, right? See, business spends every penny with a lot of thought and discussions and deliberation. If you ever started any business, you'll know. Like even to give a free tea, free breakfast depends upon your thought process, and you need to really think it through. Is it really going to increase the efficiency or not, and so on and so forth. So this way we do deliberate a lot on spending a single penny. And so if you want to choose Excel or a Tableau or a, Power BI, depending upon your need. If you don't need it, normally don't spend a penny also for a given business. Business is for earning profit. Is that a right statement? Anybody wants
Yes,
to
sir.
contradict?
Yes.
Yeah. So for that matter, every penny counts, sir. So unless and until you need that specificity of a specific tool, you normally don't purchase that, or you tend to go to the community edition like LibreOffice and all those things. Okay. Again, it's a management decision. So for a given company, they might use Tableau extensively. So whenever you join such company, they'll train you on Tableau. They'll have a 5-hour class or something like that. Because this is uncommon tools. Excel, nobody will train you because they believe you know Excel. Even LibreOffice for that matter, or a Google Sheet, nobody will train you. They understand like you know these things. As a business analyst, we should at least know these 3 things. So we should try LibreOffice, Microsoft Office, and Google Sheets, because this is a kind of trend nowadays, using more of a Google Sheet and less of a Microsoft Office also. But again, depends on your region, depend on the organization you are joining. These things do change a bit. Okay, so let's stick to Excel as of now because it's easy to answer questions during interview as well. Yes, Shyamji, please go ahead. Do you have a question for me, sir?
Yeah, so other than the data analysis, which saw the video in Excel, do we have an example of actual requirement gathering in Excel?
Yeah, requirement is just as simple as a table, sir. Means I couldn't get you what you are looking for, sir.
So like if we are taking a stories and jotting it down in Excel.
Yes, we are going to practice on user story as well.
Oh, okay.
Nowadays, yes, so a good number of companies, they are going on a user story based requirement gathering, and we're going to work on that as well. Don't worry on that one. But user story is a bit I'll not say cryptic, is a bit different way of gathering requirement. Here you just discussion, minutes of meeting, and gather the wish list, gather the requirement kind of scenario. In user story, you have a kind of processing to be done, right? So that's why I keep it at the end of these sessions. Okay.
Okay, sure, thanks.
Most of them, sir. So now here let's try to understand the charts and the graphs within the Excel, and let's try to practice on that. There are 3 kinds of inputs. It could be time, measured, temperature, water every 5 minutes. First think about a kind of information you have. What are your inputs and outputs? So whenever you try to do analysis, you first think on these 3 lines. So what you have, what has to be answered in terms of questions, and what are the inputs and outputs. So these 3 things basically drive your way you want to do analysis. And in a step-by-step way, with these study of these 3 points, we actually come to a point where we decide, or the top management basically guides you to create one chart, other chart, or the graph, or as per the need of the business. There's a numerical analysis, there's a numerical calculations, like you measure the height of a catapult projectile at a different distance away from the catapult. So it's like depending on the reference point as well. So if you're working in North America, you might go with the CGI unit. If you work in Canada, you might go with the MKS unit. And depending on all these challenges, we do have converters in Excel inbuilt. So you don't have to really think it through. And in Excel, there's no limitation in terms of columns and rows. Rows are basically records, columns are basically categories or attributes. Okay, this thing we need to remember, and I think everybody must be knowing these things. Rows are data, columns are attributes normally. There could be vice versa as well, depending upon the query or the presentation you want to present. And there are categories like measure of a pH and different kind of liquids and the conversion thereof, which Excel really helps you out to basically build these charts and Excel. Let me play you a good video of Excel's 10 best charts, where this person's explain us the best way to basically process the charts and the data as we normally do in our day-to-day life. Okay, and yes, this is a kind of copyrighted from that smart sheet or mylesson.org, but yes, it's really explained it good. So I'll basically share this video with you. Please have a look at it, and we can basically build our expense sheet like this to study it, how we are basically spending on a given topic and all those things. Okay, so let's try to understand with a single row of data, with a multiple row of data, how the pie, how the chart or the graphs can be selected accordingly. Okay, could you see number of
Yeah, sir.
graphs and chart on my okay, sure. So let's have a look at it, a small video here, and try to understand how we can include this as an in our day-to-day data analysis model. Okay, let me play this for you.
In this video, I'm going to tell you how to make 10 most used charts in Excel. Yes, in one video, you will learn how to make 10 most used charts in Excel. So we'll start the column chart, bar chart, line chart, pie chart, donut chart, combo chart. This is where it starts getting interesting. Combo chart, tree map chart, Pareto chart, and in the end, I'll tell you how to make Sparkline chart and Sparkline column chart also. So making charts and graphs in Excel is very, very easy. You just need to know what kind of data you have and what you want to show. So let's start making our charts from here, and this is the data I have. So to insert the chart, you select your data and go to home. So we go to insert, and from here choose column chart. There are multiple type of column chart. Since this is a simple video, I've taught the regular common charts. If you want to know more about these charts, you can go to my website, myunison.org, and there are comprehensive videos on these charts. And we were able to create a column chart. You can edit it by changing its name, column chart, like this. This section open fill, no fill, I'll be explaining this later with other topics. And now let's create which is the second chart we have, is a bar chart. Alright. Now when to create what kind of chart? I have written a complete article on this. You can go ahead and read it in the description below this video. Alright. And do also like and comment. Do also like this video if you like what I have written and made, and also comment upon the content of this video. So now I'm trying to make a bar chart. I'll select my data, go to insert, go over this area and choose bar chart. And here is my bar chart. In a bar chart, I will tell you another trick. Like you click on the chart, anywhere in the chart, and these two sections open design. You can use design section to change the design of your chart like this. In every chart, I will tell you one option. Alright. So we have created two charts. Now let me create a line chart. So this is my data. I go to insert and I go to line chart over here and I choose a line chart. And here is my line chart. And go to charts. Use this a little bit. This is my line chart, and in this video, in this chart, I'll tell you how you can change the colors from here. Alright, you can go ahead and work with the legends from here. Where do you want to show the legends? I want to show the legends on, say, bottom, more options. So I say on top, okay? And I want to show data labels. And data labels. These are my data labels, and I want to show them above. Now I go to the regular size. And this is my data label. So I was able to insert data label. Now, what next chart do we have online is a pie chart. Pie chart. Here is a pie chart for us. Select the data, go to insert, go to pie, and here is your pie. So I can go on and keep on writing them over here. So this is your pie chart. Now in pie chart, I'll tell you a trick. Go to format, and from here you can go ahead and choose various colors to fill the shapes. Whatever you have selected, you You can format your charts from here. See, what colors do you want in here? You can choose them from here. You can choose a specific color for a section or for the complete stuff. There is just one section I want. This is one section I want, I'm bothered about. Then only in this section will I change the color. Say, let me make it blue. In this section, I want it to be red. In this section, I'm making it blue. Google logo is green, yellow, red, and blue. So in this section, I will insert green. And here is a Google. See? So let me pull it down. We should never pull somebody down. It's just a chart that we are trying to pull down. Okay? And which is the next chart we have online? This is a donut chart made in a very similar manner as a pie chart. Select the data, go to insert, go to donut chart from here, and your donut chart is ready. In this one, I'll tell you how to copy paste the chart. So you select the chart, click on copy, go to a new sheet, right click and click on paste, a new chart is ready. It is linked to the same data. That's what I'm doing. Alright, and now I believe we are moving into interesting things. Combo charts. Combo charts are great if you have to show 2 or 3 kinds of information. Like I want to show the sales, like we are showing over here, along with a target. Alright, so how will I do that? I'll select this complete data now. Go to insert and go to combo charts over here. Right, this is a combo chart. You can learn more about it in detail on my website, mylesson.org. So this is a combo chart. So this is the 3000 target line that you see over here, and now you can see this one is this far away from here. This one is exceeded it. This is just there, almost there. And combo chart, I'll tell you that you can have these lines, etc., removed. You click on those lines and they get removed. Click over here and they get removed. Doesn't have your basic data looking clean, extremely clean. Right? This was a combo chart for you. And let's create a tree map chart, a beautiful chart which shows the content of your data in form of square and rectangular blocks, something similar to what a donut chart does in a round way. So this is my data. I select it. I go to insert. I go to recommended chart. I go to, this is my tree chart. And here is the data. I will go ahead and place it. Now if you try to reduce the size, it will retain its symmetry. If I change the data over here, say, if I make it, say, 8,800, it's changed. It's a beautiful chart to work with. Also, if I go ahead and remove this layout from here, and again it will try to occupy most space in the section and organize itself accordingly. That's the beauty of this chart. And then comes the Pareto chart, extremely difficult to make in the earlier versions of Excel, but very easy to make in this version of Excel now. So let's select our range, sales data, go to insert, and from here you can choose a Pareto chart. Here is your Pareto chart in the histogram. So it tells you which sections are corresponding with 100%, 80%, 90% of your data. For people who want to know more about Pareto charts, please visit my website mylesson.org and you will understand what exactly a Pareto chart can do for you in a presentation and how extremely pleased your boss will be. And now coming to our last charts, which are Sparkline charts and Spark column charts. Beautiful charts we have.
So I want to create a Sparkline chart. So for that, you have to ensure that your data is not more than one row. It has to be a row, not a column. It can be as long as possible. The row can be as long as possible, but it has to be a row, and only one thing can be shown over there, like sales. So I've selected this data, go to insert, go to Sparkline. It will ask you choose your location. So I will hover over here and say I want my chart to be located over here. Okay, comes over here. Click OK, and my chart is ready. See, this graph is now, chart is located in one single cell. These are hovering over a range of cells. Sparkline chart is located within a cell. See, if I click on a chart, it says chart 5. But if I click on a Sparkline chart, it says cell number B31. I will explain more about Sparkline charts in my video on Sparkline charts on mylisten.org. In a similar manner, we can insert a Sparkline column chart also. So we go to our data, go to insert and go to Spark column chart. Select where you want to have your chart. I want it here. Click OK, and your Spark column chart is ready. Isn't it amazing? Now there's one last trick. See what I'll do. This is my data. I'll select it. Do nothing. Just press F11. Chart is ready automatically in full screen size. F11. You need to press F11. All right. That's the key, the top key, function key. And from here, you click over here and change the design, change the layout. From here, want to change the colors, you can change them from here. Want to change the layout, you can have the numbers on the top. Anything you want to change the chart type, you can do that from here. Make it a line chart, make it a pie chart, area chart, whatever you want. Cool, right? So this is how we go ahead and make these 10 most used charts in Excel. So I hope you like this video. If you did, please click on the like button below. And if you have a question or a comment, please do write your comment and do subscribe to the channel. It will keep you motivated. And also you will be notified whenever there is a new video made by me, which is almost on every second day. So till the next video, this is your Guru now signing off for the day. Have a wonderful day ahead. Happy learning.
So this way, we do use this chart in terms of how we can, present the data, whatever we collected, converted, cleaned, analyzed to the business people. And this way, you can understand more about how we can do a data analysis on a day-to-day basis. Okay. So today we learned a really great tool called Excel sheet in terms of how you present your data, specifically in terms of trend analysis, specifically in terms of how the data categories are, looking prominent for a given, purpose and so on and so forth. Does anybody have any question for me at this moment?
No, sir.
The way, as I've been sharing the video also, so I'll share the links of video of whatever videos I played, I think 2-3 videos. So have a look at them and please try to do practice. If you want to do, there's a homework called try to analyze your expenses in last 6 months, and you can present them in terms of how the heads are basically looking at to you. It's not the intention of analyzing your pocket and spending. Is basically trying to give you an idea of how you can present the data which is known to you. So whenever a data comes to you, you need to understand it, and then only you can clean it, right? So this is a kind of process. So know your data, clean your data, present your data, and then do the analysis or the business requirement as per the interpretation of the given data. Okay, so that's the process we normally follow in analysis. In our next session, we're going to learn more about pivot table. Is one of the most scientific way to present the data with all those different combination of rows and columns. Then we move to the minutes of meetings. We'll present some templates in minutes of meeting, what are the important parts and all those things, and then we'll move to the high level diagram. Okay, so mostly high level diagram is also one of the most crucial thing we learn in our day-to-day basis, or that's the kind of conceptualization we work. to convert the vision mission into a solution. Okay, so that's kind of the most important part business analyst does, and then to present it to a given development team to get the knowledge from us, to receive the knowledge from us, and start interpreting in a step-by-step manner. Okay, so if you have any questions, do WhatsApp me and I'll able to answer you in a quickest possible fashion. I'm in India right now, so there'll be kind of a time gap between us. So I'm working at your night and so on and so forth. So do buzz me on a WhatsApp and we can basically have a call at a mutually agreed time or something like that. Okay, any question, please feel free to ask. You can wait for the next session, or you can ask during the WhatsApp as during the daytime or night time as well. Don't worry. Okay, and let me get back to you as early as I can. Any question as of now?
No, sir.
Great. So let's meet again in our next session. Okay, next session is like 23rd, right? So 22nd, that will be challenging. Tuesday, India, Thursday, right? Okay, so let me work out about next session. Most probably Thursday I'm kind of traveling, so we might have a next session on 24th, but let me work that out and come back to on that. Okay, thank you, thanks a lot for your time. Have a good night.